Hi, and welcome back to Aging Gracefully for the 50 Plus. We are here in our living room and we are talking color today for the aging eye. And so we're going to talk about contrast, just as this fireplace mantle is high contrast. How does that connect to aging gracefully? Well, in our eyes, we're going to talk about this today. So we are talking to the 50 plus, and I want to do a little review because the boomers, they were the World War II afterwards, the baby boomers, right? And they were born, the leading edge were born in 1946, and the trailing edge born in 1964. So a 20-year generational span, okay? Well, why am I mentioning that today? Well, because they're over 50. And a statistic that you may have heard, you've heard me talk about it if you've followed me or read anything of mine for a long time, is that by 2030, you all, half of Americans will be over 50. Now that's a staggering thought, that's a staggering fact that's going to affect everything. It already has, but sometimes reality is slow catching up. But as far as designing and selecting color for the aging eye, it's really something to comprehend in how it affects our quality of life and aging gracefully, which is what we're all about, right? So one of the things that occurs for most of us over 50, unless you're one of those blessed ones that don't have this condition, it's called presbyopia, something like that. I think of it like Presbyterian. And what happens to our eyes aging is that we get that blurry sense experience when we try to look at something close without glasses. It just is fuzzy or blurry. Well, transfer that to our homes. If our color palette is all, bad grammar as I always say, pretty much the same, well, then it gives you that kind of nondescript, what are we looking at, what's the focal point, is there any excitement in the room, but more than that, does it help us to define what we really want to look at and treasure? So this is a little part of what we're going to talk about today. So here in our living room, obviously I'm not afraid of color. But it took me forever to get this color because people will say, oh, yellows are hard, blues are hard. Well, fact be known, all colors are hard, even white, you all. I did 3 or 4 trips from Kansas working on our last best nest here in northeastern Ohio. And it was winter most of the time when I was doing this. And I thought I had this wall color nailed, this white. And I know how much lighting and everything affects color. So I came back and my sister and I were here. It was like, I don't remember exactly when, but we walked in and went, oh my goodness, it was wrong. So, had to repaint the white. So, really, Mitzi Beach, you've done this for how many eons of years? And so the message here is to check our paints on sunny days, light days, nighttime, daytime, all of that. I thought I had done that, but that's another story. But for today, this living room color, this blue, as most of you know, I've been a blue and white girl forever. I am not one to change my spaces on trends or fads. I think it's a waste of money, energy, frustration. So I find something that I love, classic, that stays in forever. To me, it's the blue and white. A lot of people hate blue. I get that. But it goes way back to antiquity with the Chinese. And a lot of our porcelain things are Chinese or Asian, and they are a lot of blue and white, okay? Beside the point, I love blue. So we have, in my last video from the loft upstairs, that was like a technical disaster. Thank you all for being so kind. But for upstairs, I showed you what this area looked like. And it is all light white. And so where I calculated to put color was in the accents. But I needed a major punch. And so if you can imagine, well, maybe some of you saw this mantle when it was all white. It just blended into nothingness. So with the aging eye, there was nothing to define it. Now, I'm not talking our elderly. We love our elderly, 80s, 90s, God bless them. I'm talking about us 50, 60, and into our 70s. Our eyes are aging, and we see color less in a distinctive palette than we did. So this is why we're talking color and the aging eye in our spaces to age gracefully in our homes. I chose the yellow accent on the candlesticks. It picks up the yellow in the painting, which I love. It's a significant memorabilia from Bob and I traveling. As I'm always saying, buy things that mean things, or keep your treasures, not your stuff. So as you look at this, I think of areas like a composition. This composition is lacking, and I'm going to enjoy showing you the progression. This is a work in progress of what I'm going to do next, but it has to do with molding, and it has to do with some larger wall accessories that don't compete with the paint. So next I want to talk about color has weight. This makes this fireplace look a lot heavier because the color is saturated, i.e. it has weight. Lighter colors feel lighter, look lighter, because they are lighter on the color spectrum. I was just doing a consulting maybe 3 days ago in the neighborhood. Beautiful home, and over 50s homeowners, and it was the Tuscany gold, saturated deep gold, that was very popular a while back, and still is in some places. So they said, this feels heavy to us. We want to lighten it up. And that's exactly what color does. It can feel heavy or it can feel light. And so for like a gloomy day, right? Really dark colors, saturated, can make us feel heavy, gloomy. Day after day of cloudy, rainy, dark weather, wintertime, it affects a lot of people. So do rooms. Now, caveat, of course there's areas that we appreciate that cozy cave-like feeling, like maybe a den, or maybe a bedroom, although a lot of people are doing light tints in their bedrooms, or a dining room. But overall, we are seeing spaces become much lighter, and especially for the 50 plus. So, how to use color and where to use color? Well, the rule of thumb is to consider, it's like eating, to have willpower how much color to use. There are some designers and some homeowners that they are color on steroids, and it looks great. I could name 10 right now, and they do it in such, it is their style, it is their mark, and it's beautiful. For a lot of us at this particular stage, it's too much. And that's a whole nother topic, why it might be too much. But color does have weight. How to pick out what to make saturated? It's your treasures. It's what you want to focus on. If everything is laden or heavy with color, I ask you, what stands out? Is there anything that isn't just in the mix, right? So I consider or calculate where to add the color, especially in a neutral space. And when I say a neutral space, you all, I don't mean just white. The beautiful, soft, dove light grays, light grays, the tints, those are all enveloping and give us that fresh, new feeling. So don't misunderstand me that I'm just talking the white, okay? So again, the yellow candlesticks, just pick up a little bit of the picture, of the painting, just like my yellow shoes that I wore today just for you all. With this outfit I have on, I'm mimicking this so that you can see visually in another example of what color does. Now, if I were to have all blue, it would be like heavy and nondescript. Now, in certain places, that could be fine. I mean, there's nothing ever wrong with an all black gorgeous dress or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the mixture, how much color to use where in our homes. And this is an example. The yellow shoes, I wouldn't want to have on all yellow. I would look like, remember the sesame seed Big Bird? Well, that's what happened when a lot of people use way too much color. It's too much of anything is too much. So study the contrast. Think about contrast. Excuse me, this is the whole message in the aging eye. It's contrast. And it doesn't have to be this stark, but unless there's contrast in your spatial homes, it is not as easy to appreciate and define the different elements or the different furnishings, treasures, any of that, because it all kind of gets muddied together. One of the most beautiful trends we're seeing, and I love it, is seeing a room like this that's light, and then you'll see like a gorgeous velvet emerald green sofa or something. But then the rest of the room is done very wisely without that green everywhere, but oh, does that sofa pop. So it's not just about things on the wall. It's about your furnishings and your treasures. Even lamps add that spark of like, whoa. So in closing, I want to say that paint is about the cheapest. And I remember when I was being mentored way back when I was young, and I would say cheap, I was told, Mitzi, you don't say cheap, you say good value. So it's a good value, you all, to experiment on paint on your walls. It can be changed much easier than a mistake buying a sofa or something. Not that I want anybody to be afraid of that, but I'm just saying, what do we have to lose by looking around our homes and going, oh, this is really tired. It's time to kick things up a notch, like Emerald says, okay? So before I close off, another reminder about the newsletter. I'm sharing a new product, a new facial product for anti-aging that I've been using, and it's really inexpensive, and you're going to want to know about this and where to get it. I'm also going to give my review on the shower head with the filter and tell you my experience after having it for a week or so. And then I want to tell you next time, July 7th, I'm going to share with you a video that I have done, and it is on busting the sugar gram mysteries. with lots of examples, and I think this one is going to be really appreciated and I believe valuable for you. So, until the next time, you all, to age gracefully, do more to be more in your homes and in your life. Alrighty, bye-bye.